Okay, Army Regulation 5580, Op Navius 11210-2, AFMAN 321017, MCO 12102D, DLAR 4519, Transportation Travel Department of Defense Transportation Engineering Program. Department of the Navy, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Defense Logistics Agency, December 17th, November 2013. Summary of changes: the AR 5580, Op Navius 11210-2, AFMAN 321017, MCO 11210.2D, DLR 4519, Department of Transportation Training Engineering Program. The revision change of the proponent of this regulation for the Army Depot Chief of Staff G4 to the Commander Military Traffic Management Command Transportation Engineering Agency. Remove the references of the Army DC G4 throughout this regulation. The revision dated July 2013. The implementation new model requirements outlined in the Department of Defense Directives 4510-11, dated October 2nd, 1995, which includes the Department of Defense Highway National Defense Program Incorporated program services to include other major modes of military transportation. Updates clarifies the organizational responsibility, paragraph 344454 and 62D. To provide simplified procedure obtaining transportation engineering guidance for the defense-related program problems and issues, paragraph 35 through 311, 55 and 55, 61 and 6E. Eliminates Department of Defense 1948 traffic engineering needs report of the Department of Defense 220-2265 highway safety standards report. Simplify the procedures developing installation traffic safety plan, implementation of the Railroad's National Defense Program, implementation of ports and National Defense Program. Program describes the analytical services provided by the Military Traffic Management Command Transportation Energy Agency related to installation internal mode transportation facilities. Department of the Army, Navy, Army, Air Force, Marine Corps Defensive Logistics Agency, Washington, December, D.C., 17 November 2013. Transportation Travel, Department of Transportation Engineering Training Program by order of the Secretary of the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Director of the Defense Logistics Agency. Peter Shoemaker, Official Jewel B. Hudson, Charles W. Moore Jr., Richard Kelly, Ernest O. Robbins, and Richard Conley. History. This public is an administrative revision portion effective for the administrative revisions listed with the summary change. The summary regulation describes the new module program services provided with the guidance and when they obtain the services provided by the Department of Defense 4510-11. New services address national railroad ports intermodule facilities. Also clarifies organizational responsibility, simplifies procedures obtaining transportation highway engineering guidance for the defense related programs or problems and issues. This regulation applies to all the Department of Defense service agencies' activities involved with the movement of military personnel, equipment, and material of the military installation over the National Defense Transportation Network, either the execution participation services here thereafter collectively as the DOD components during the mobilization procedure. The publication is modified to support the policy and changes necessary. Proponent exemption authority. The proponent regulation of the Commander Military Traffic Management Command Transportation Engineer Agency, or MTMCT. Proponent with the authority to approve exemptions. The regulations are consistent with the control law regulations. Proponent delegated with the approval authority and written division chief with the proponent agency grade of the colonel or civil equivalent. Army management control process. The regulation contains the management of the control provisions in accordance with the AR 11.2. Does not identify the key of the management controls that must be evaluated. Supplementation. The supplementation of this regulation establishes command with local forms without prior approval of the Commander Military Traffic Management Command of the Transportation Engineering Agency. Thimble Shelves Boulevard, Newport News, VA 23606-4537. Suggested users are invited to send comments and suggested improvement to DA Form 2028 and to change the publication directly. Specialty Assistant for the Transportation Engineering Military Traffic Management Command Transportation Agency 2720 Thimble Shelves Boulevard, Newport News, Virginia 23606-4357. The publication is available electronic media and is indicated with the commands A, B, C, D, and E of the Active Army, Army National Guard, and U.S. Army Reserve, Navy Special Forces, Air Force, F, Marine Corps, PCN 12011559000, Defensive Logistics Agency Special. This is unclassified. Introduction, reference, explanation, abbreviation, terms, responsibility, implementation, points of contact. Chapter 2, responsibilities, the Secretary of Defense, U.S. Transportation Command, the Department of Defense components. Chapter 3, Highway National Defense Program, purpose, program, applicability, and policies. Highway National Defense Program, responsibility, highway system program, the Defense of Access Road Program, military use of the public road, emergency relief of the Federal Owned Railroad Program, public land, highway discretionary program, the Department of Defense Traffic Engineering Program, highway safety program. Chapter 4, Railroad of National Defense Purpose Program Applicability Policy, Railroads of National Defense Program Responsibility Implementation. Chapter 5, Ports of National Defense Purpose Program Applicability Policy, Ports of National Defense Program Responsibility Implementation. Chapter 6, Military Installation, Intermodular Facility Infrastructure Deployable Engineering Analysis, Installation, Intermodular Access Facility Analysis, Deployable Engineering, and Appendix and Glossary. Chapter 1. The purpose of the establishment of the policy, the procedure, regulation and policy associated with the multimodal component of the Department of Defense Transportation Engineering Program. This includes highway, roads, and ports, and national defense programs. The rational regulations implement the Department of Directive 451011. This provide guidance procedure obtaining the installation, transportation, engineering studies of the evaluation of marine ports, the terminals, and other modular facilities. Transportation engineering guidance of the related to the Department of Defense Force, the transportation deployment, the Department of Defense Engineering Transportability, Deployability Program, and also including the Department of Defense Directive 4510.11. How is implementing regulation, therefore, is not discussed further in this document. 1-2 references required and related publications prescribed in the reference forms are listed in Appendix A. 1-3 explanations, abbreviations of terms. Abbreviations of terms are used in the regulation and glossary. 1-4 responsibility of the detailed Chapter 2 in paragraphs 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4, 6, 1D, and 6, 2D. Implementation, if this regulation will not be amended within the DOD component of the department, officials will comply. Keep issuance of any directive, regulation, policy, memorandum, or other formal documentation necessary to implement mandatory procedure for the herein minimum. Department officials will provide copies of all such to the Undersecretary of Defense Acquisition Technology Logistics prior to the publication, submitting the waivers requesting the expectations of the provision regulations. The U.S. Secretary of Defense Acquisition Technology Logistics Viva Military Traffic Command, or MTMC 720, Thimble Shoals Boulevard, Newport News, Viva 23606 455 3773. Requirements can be waived unless they statute specifically provides the waiver as required requirements. Memorandums, implementation, instruction related to the documentation coordinated with the military management control, military traffic management control, special assistant transportation engineering, military traffic management control, transportation agency agent, MTMCT. 720 Thimble Shoals Boulevard, Newport News, VF, and 23607 4537. Prior to staffing, the change authority to change regulation is hereby delegated to the commander, MTMC, or military traffic management command, with coordinated with the recommended change to the commander of the United States Transportation Command, or CD Rush Transcom. The approval of the United States Secretary of Defense for the Acquisition Technology and Logistics Policy Procedures described in the regulation mandatory is responsible for these Department of Defense components to verify all requirements are met. Transportation engineering consultant type of the service is available for the Military Traffic Management Command as described here and can be requested in discretion over the DoD component. Their services will provide with a priority basis or depending on the report. The resource available to perform their requests should be thoroughly normally command channels. Points of contact: the proponent agency, regulation, Army, the military management, military traffic management command. The following designation agent points of contact: transportation, engineering issues, the military service, defense logistics agency, the Department of Agency, state, MTTESA, 720 in the Thimble Shoals Boulevard, Suite 130, Newport News, Virginia 23606 4357, or D telephone number 800-722-0727. The Department of Navy Naval Facility Engineering Command, or Navy Flag, MCM, 1322 Madison Avenue, Suite 100, Washington, D.C. 203-745-064, Navy Transportation Support Center, or Navy Trans 02, 183 Morse Street, Suite 501, Norfolk, Virginia, 2351-11-349. Note that they will change the Navy Operational Logistics Support of the Command, effective the Command, October, the Department of the Air Force at the Pentagon, Headquarters, U.S. Army Air Force, Pentagon, Washington, D.C., 2030-10. Headquarters of Marine Installation Logistics Department, attention LFL 2 Navy Annex, Washington, D.C. 203801775. Defense Logistics Agency, the Chief of Transportation, Policy J333D725, John J. Kingman Road, Suite 2533, Fort Belvoir, Virginia 22060. Chapter 2, Responsibilities.